Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. And today I've got two replays to show you in the Tier 7 German premium tank destroyer, the E25. Now this tank is of course the contract tank and it's available to earn for free at the moment. And if you haven't already got the E25, it's definitely worth picking up because it's a fantastic tank destroyer. It has preferable matchmaking, so you're only ever going to see Tier 7s or 8 at worst. And yeah, honestly, this tank is insane. It has 3,700 DPM with fantastic concealment. You can see in the crew and equipment build, which I have at the bottom of the screen at the moment, I've got the concealment down to about 174. And it's basically an incredibly stealthy, mobile, turretless tank destroyer with low alpha of 135, but a fantastic reload. So you're like a pea shooter, but you can see how quickly you can reload. And look at the concealment here. You know, this tank is only like 250 meters away. I'm not getting spotted, and I'm just farming him when he's in the open. So the first replay we have for you today is on Fjords, and we've managed to pick up our first kill of the game. It is the encounter variant, and there's one enemy light tank and one enemy artillery. But at the moment, I'm just going to try and get this damage on these enemy tanks in front of us, shooting through two bushes. Very unlikely to get spotted. The only thing you have to worry about with the E25 is because you fire, so quickly, you can see it's quite easy to work out where I'm firing from. So people will try and blind fire you. But already I've got 2,000 damage and 2 kills, and that is because this tank is so capable in the right scenario. If you get that window of opportunity to get those shots in, you can pick up some damage very, very quickly because you're at a Tier 7 TD and you've got almost 4,000 base DPM. I've got it down to that 3,700. But as you can see, I'm going to relocate here because if you pay attention on the mini-map at the sort of FD1 line, the enemy team have won that line, which means they're going to push across. They're going to keep pushing. They're not going to turn around. So I'm going to fall back, use my mobility to set up a different position and kind of wait for these tanks to come for me, and then I can try and farm them as they approach. And there isn't really any mini bushes I can hide behind here, but I've got such good concealment. I am top tier that it's unlikely they're going to spot me from this distance. I'm just hoping they get detected, and yeah, then I can get some shots in. And as you can see, this enemy tiger does in fact get detected here, and now I can free farm this tank as he crosses. Hopefully I should pick up the kill here, which I do, confirm my third kill of the game. And now I'm focusing the enemy Italian tank destroyer. And just, when you catch tanks out crossing in this tank, it's absolutely devastating. We're up to about 2,700 damage now. Unfortunately, this KV3 is managed to get too close to us now. I don't want to get spotted. I only got 800 odd hit points, and I don't want to be in a full frontal brawl with that tank. So I'm going to have to fall back again. It's still a pretty close game at the moment. 8 versus 7. Hit points are actually slightly in favour for the enemy team. But it's very, very close. So I'm going to pull back a little bit more. And now you can see I've still got shots of this enemy Italian TD. The penetration is, standard rounds 150, premium rounds 194 on your APCR rounds. And I'm able to just try and free farm this tank. But when he turns frontally to us, we're going to struggle to pen him. But we have put him onto a one-shot, or potential one-shot I should say, and put us onto about 3,200 damage. Kind of expecting the enemy heavy tank, the enemy KV3, to make his approach this way. So I'm going to kind of wait for it. I may have to eventually fall back again, but I'm not necessarily worried about being capped out at the moment. We do have a one-shot tank there. He's probably going to get taken out, and we've got so much time on the clock that I'm not going to concern myself with the cap at the moment. I'm waiting for the KV3, who I know is heading this way. He's just a slow tank, so it's going to take a little while. He is probably looking for our friendly fun police, who has managed to escape. So at this point I was thinking, is he ever going to come down this way? And he does. He pulls round. I'm going to try and get a few shots in. It's only like 200 meters away, but he doesn't have the best view range, and I'm just farming shots into him again. Until he gets around to the left where he'll be safe to us. For the moment, I was trying to get as many shots in as I possibly can. Unfortunately, now he has got safe to me, and yeah, at this point, I'm not really going to be able to get any more shots into him without getting detected. And I've got to be a little bit careful here. I'm thinking I might wait for him to come up, just try and out DPM him to death if I can get close to him. I'm going to try to put a couple into the cupola here where I've got the opportunity. I managed to put one in, put them onto about 700 hit points, but yeah, now I'm going to have to pull back again. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I don't really want to fight the heavy tank in that environment. You know, I really want to be falling back and abusing my view range and, you know, concealment values where I can. But I'm going to pull back. I'm just going to bait him again just to see if he keeps pushing us, and I might just try and, you know, get a couple of shots in, fall back, get a couple of shots in until I've whittled him down to enough hit points where I can just go in and just stand in front of him and kill him. And then, you know, because I've got full hit points, I can afford to eat probably like 3 shots off him if I need to, as long as I don't get set on fire. Now it's 4 versus 2. Unfortunately for me, my friendly tanks are just going to go and sit in the cap circle, which is always a bit annoying. But I'm kind of thinking, yeah, at this point, oh, maybe the heavy tank has turned around. He had turned around, but maybe I should have waited just a little bit tad longer, because I think if I did, then he would have made his advance back down the hill to get resets on our team, and then I could have farmed him. But as it is, he's now pushed me. I can't really fight him like this, so I'm just waiting. I was thinking, right, I can just hold him. He can't shoot me, so I'll keep driving around this rock. Surely my friendly heavy tank will come up and then help us and get easy shots in while he's distracted. And it looks like one of our teammates, thankfully, is coming to a help. The other one is, you know, the other 2 is kind of content on sitting in the cap circle. Can't really stop that, but hopefully at least when I get this one tank come and help me, we'll then be able to kill him together. So I'm just waiting patiently because I know he's coming to support me. Don't want to eat another shot off the heavy tank. I'll keep circling down this rock, waiting for him to make his advance. As soon as my heavy tank comes and just eats a shot for me, I'll pop up and start trying to get some more damage. Because I'm on about 3,500 damage with 4 kills. It would have been nice to try and get, you know, up to the 4k mark. I think the enemy KV has fire, so it gives me opportunity to get at least 1 shot in. I'm going to stay and eat one, just to try and farm this damage and try and put him onto a 1 shot. He's probably a 2 shot to us, but I can still eat 1 shot. My friendly heavy tank finishes him off there. And that puts us onto about 4,000 damage and 4 kills. But there's only 10 seconds left on the cap. There's only 1 enemy tank left, it's an enemy light tank. But it does look like our team are going to cap out, so I won't get an opportunity to get some more damage. But the light tank was a 1 shot anyway. And that brings us then to replay number 1, but we still have 1 final replay to come. So let's see the scoreboard and then move on. You see 4 kills, 4,000 damage. It was only the first class, but yeah, we get the high caliber as well. So that's it. Let's see you in a bit for replay number 2. Okay, so here we are for the second replay on Morrow. This time we have no enemy fun police and 1 enemy light tank. And initially we're going to go and try and play the field area, get up into those ridges in the sort of D7 and try and get into a bush and see what we're going to spot and see if we can get any early damage in this game. May have to, you know, retreat depending on how much my friendly team come with me or how much enemy team we spot. But I do want to at least try and get a bit of information and, you know, see where we go from there. So I'm going to pop up into these bush and try and use the concealment as my advantage. Pop the food there to try and, you know, extend our view range. And we do spot this enemy heavy tank, and here's what you're going to see with the absolutely disgusting concealment and DPM values of this tank. You know, this enemy heavy tank, it's got spotted crossing. I've set him on fire, and I'm basically just free farming his whole hit points here. I put him onto a 1 shot, looking for the kill shot. Unfortunately, I don't quite roll high enough, but I get him again on the 2nd time of arson because just, you know, yeah, and that's 1,200 damage in just a split second. And now this enemy Hellcat's cross, and we managed to get a couple of shots into him as well. So it's looking like we're potentially going to win this field area. I think there might have still been 1 tank which crossed. I'm just trying to wait and see if we spot them, hoping my team sort of close the distance with me, and then we want to try and push out this side if we can, because then ultimately I'd like to try and get to sort of the K-line, K9 area and try and shoot the enemy tanks on the hill. So now our friendly light tank has pushed up a little bit. I am going to sort of full send this area to try and, yeah, gain that position, because looking on the mini map you can see most of the enemy team are sort of on the opposite side, apart from this enemy TD who we do spot leaving, and we're going to try and get the damage on him. We'll stop and farm while we can. We put him onto a 1 shot, should get the finish here. Unfortunately it just misses, but our friendly Hellcat's able to finish it off for us, and the game is still, I guess it's fairly even, but we have started to take some good control away from the enemy team. We put ourselves onto just shy of 2,000 damage there with 1 kill. I'm going to see if we can try and farm this Panther who's in the middle, but I don't really have great shots at him. I do have slim shots at the turret. I managed to get a couple of shots into him, but now he's sort of moved a little bit safe to us. I don't want to waste my time because I've got a feeling that this game, it's got potential to end quickly. Looking at just, you know, the map and the positions that we put the enemy team in, we started to take full map control away from the enemy team, and that normally puts them in an awkward spot. So we push up into this this hill here, and we're in behind some bushes, and we're just free farming the tanks which get spotted on the hill. Unfortunately, we missed a kill shot on that Hellcat, which was a shame, but we still have a few opportunities to get some shots into this Panther there, who's on the hill. But you've got such disgusting concealment values in this tank that I can afford myself to push like a lot further forward than you and fire than you could in most other TDs, especially when you're at sort of tier 7. You've got that +1 pref matchmaking. You know, you're not fighting tier 9s, which you're going to have more view range. So when you get into a top tier matchmaking, which happens quite a lot because you are pref, you can be an absolute menace when you're on a map which you're able to abuse that concealment values on. So I'm going to push up now because I need to. I want to try and get more damage out of this game. I've had a decent start, but I don't want to let it slip away. I don't want the damage to start disappearing. So I want to just try and get right in there to try and get these damage here. We spot an enemy ELC at light tank. We've got 3 farms on him. We do damage his ammo rack. Puts him onto a 1 or 2 shot to us. He's definite 1 shot now. And we fire blind to finish him off, confirming our second kill of the game. Putting us on to about 3,600 damage, and we're now farming this poor little poor little T29 who's in the open there, putting us on to getting what, about 3,500 damage. And you know, this game hasn't really even gone on 4 minutes yet, so we are just, you know, farming the damage, and pretty much all the tanks are now in 1 grid square in the F12 area. It is going to force me to come closer, where I'm probably going to get detected in order to get the shots in. But if I want to get the damage out of this game, I need to go in. Our friendly TD is applying cap pressure. Hopefully he doesn't just sit in and cap us out, because there's so much damage available for me right now. It'd be a shame, you know, not to be able to get it all, because we're going to win this game. You know, the enemy team are completely trapped in one area. And we've got all the advantages here. So we're going to poke up with full health, you know, and these enemy team are distracted with multiple angles that they've got to try and pay attention to. We do get detected for these shots, but we're just rocking backwards and forwards on this ridge, just trying to get that damage in, try and get the gun working. Enemy Hellcat, you see, puts us on to about just over 4,000 damage there. Looking to try and finish off that Hellcat if we can, or just get any damage where it's available to us. We may have a slim shot of this E29 here. We go through the drive wall there. Unfortunately, the second shot bounces, third shot bounces, and I think, well, I definitely penned him earlier, so I need to aim a little bit higher. And we do manage to get another pen in, put us into 4,500. Unfortunately, our friendly team is still consistent on capping, which is a shame because we've got 20 seconds left. So I've just got to go in now because our team's going to cap out, although it's an almost certain win. I've just got to full send in. Now, I'll get some shots into this IS. Hope we can get one more, puts us above 5,000 damage. Now, this enemy tank is literally spotted. We could farm him, we could get over 5,500 damage here, but unfortunately, it's not to be because our teammate just sits in the cap circle, which is disappointing because you're not able to get the rest of the damage in the game. It only would have took another 10 seconds, but there you go. We get 5,000 damage, just shy of 2,000 base XP. Only the first tanker. It would have been the ace tanker had that game been allowed to continue for another 10 seconds, because we would have got the damage on that E25. But you can see how absolutely disgusting this tank is in the right situation. I mean, you absolutely just abuse the enemy team there, and this tank can, to be honest, be broken when it is top tier like that. It's definitely worth picking up if you haven't got this tank. So that's all for the video for today, but thank you so much for your amazing support, and as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!